Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Axiom's Crank and Axiom's Ryung here on Cloud Kingdom. Now the first thing you guys may notice is that there is the little worker sign here, 6/24, and that is because this is the Heart of the Swarm beta. Now, I am very interested in taking a look at this series and watching how the professionals are currently, or what the professional is currently doing with this particular build in Heart of the Swarm. Now, this was taken from the Heart of the Swarm Invitational, a tournament that I didn't even know existed, but then again, I am very, very happy that we do have a set of games to watch together. Now, in my excitement, I didn't even remember the amount of, or how long this replay is, so I am going to be in the dark as much as you are. Now, we see Crank spawning as the blue Protoss player here on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Axiom's Ryung spawning as the red Terran on the bottom left. Now, in my experiences in Terran versus Protoss, one of the biggest changes is perhaps the Mothership Core. The Mothership Core really allows for some interesting early aggression and early dynamics for Protoss. Protoss can engage relatively quickly, and then if things get really dangerous, they can simply recall and return back home. Now, upsides and downsides on that Mothership Core, it does... Oh wow, it does require that you stop training probes for at least 30 seconds or 20 if you do in fact chrono boost out that Mothership Core. It also takes a fair amount of gas, but the upside is just simply so much. Protoss players are able to harass with that Mothership Core, and what we're going to see is perhaps Ryung, what is he going to do? I'm not quite sure. I can't make enough predictions here. I know that he's going to have to train up Marines in order to deal with a Mothership Core, as that's the only real way to stop any harassment there. But if you do train up a lot of Marines, then, and your opponent comes at you with, say, a lot of Zealots, then that is also a lose-lose situation. Coming back home, we can see that Ryung is setting up on one gas. He may be trying to go for a factory, perhaps utilizing Widow Mines. Widow Mines are very effective with that splash damage. They do tend to take a little bit longer to fire. I believe it is a 40-second cooldown, so that is a long bit of time, but they still do a very high amount of burst damage. What we're now seeing from Crank is the establishment of that second gas, which is no big surprise. Protoss players in general need a lot more gas early on, especially if they are going to try to go for that warp gate tech and also go for that Mothership Core. A little bit of lag there, and as always, unfortunately, I cannot get the unit preloader in the beta, so therefore sometimes the animations, the more fancy animations, take a little bit longer to go ahead and get queued up. Now, that Mothership Core, it looks like it's not going to be coming out, and that does strike me as a bit odd, especially since Crank does have 16 workers on the mineral patch. He's still going to continue to just chrono boost out more probes. Perhaps he hasn't experimented much with that Mothership Core. Meanwhile, we are going into a Ryung, and is Ryung going to go into Reactor Hellion or perhaps Reactor Widow Mine? Both are viable options, as we are going to see the liftoff and the land now. This one particular Zealot, what is going to be happening here? We are going into double training of Hellions. So pretty much in this Heart of the Swarm beta, or Heart of the Swarm Invitational, they are playing this just exactly like Wings of Liberty. Now, we are going into the Twilight Council there. We do see that the starport is being added. There is also the Mothership Core now being added, and one of the reasons why I think the Mothership Core is an absolutely necessary unit is because of the fact that it can reveal. Because it can reveal, it can deal, it can handle a lot of that harassment much more quickly, as we do see one Zealot now trying to get away from these Hellions. The Hellions will be able to torch the Zealot very quickly. No, just trying to get up the front door, and will he be able to do so? Yes, this is going to be a perfect scout by those two Hellions there. Will they actually be able to deal any damage? And it looks like one probe may get taken down, and now we can see the issue that Ryung is going to be fighting up against. He is going to be going up against Blink Stalkers with a Mothership Core, and that is a very strong strategy, as the Mothership Core can simply fly overhead, start putting down a lot of harassment, as we are seeing the proxy pylon here. So yes, this is a strategy that if you guys have been watching my stream, this is something that I do occasionally do. It is going to be 4 gate with Blink Stalkers. Stalkers should be warping down in over here in just a moment. Hellions are now trying to make their way over. And here we have it. The Hellions are simply just going to drive by and ignore it. Stalkers now making their way over. Mothership Core does move fairly slowly, but because it is a flying unit, doesn't have to worry about terrain and may actually get to where it needs to go faster. We are going to be seeing that we do have a robotics facility now coming into play. In addition to concussive shells, both sides are not expanding at this point, just playing a very, very aggressive game as the Stalkers now handle a couple of those Hellions there. What are these Hellions going to be doing? It looks like Widow Mines are being added. You can see these Widow Mines here and here in perfect position just in case a Stalker does try to blink up. That will be certain of its death. Here we have a Hellion going to town once again. Ryung now down to how many, or has lost 7 workers already. Harvester count now seeing that 30 to 20. This is not looking good as Crank is now going to be trying to perhaps make a bit of a move here. Is this going to work? Oh, this could be very bad. The Stalkers could just be blinking up. Stimpak now trying to be researched here. We're going to see a bit of aggression. The Stalkers could be blinking back here in just a moment. There you go. There's that peeling back action as we've always seen it. The Widow Mines have still not engaged just quite yet. Still a bit of a surprise, and what what Crank needs to do is he needs to get this Envision ability so that it is in fact a detector. If this is not a detector, it will not spot those Widow Mines, and you can end up losing a lot of Stalkers very quickly. Alright, Mothership Core now trying to make its way over. It may actually take a blow, and there you see how much damage was actually dealt. Mothership Core now backing off, suffering a huge devastating blow there. A Viking is also now out as well. The Observer is out. Perhaps Crank does not know about the Envision ability, as we now see another there's that splash damage. There's that damage there. Once again, another Widow Mine may get attacked here in just a moment, as we are going to see some units. There's the Observer getting scanner swept away, but we still have Envision here on this Mothership Core. The Mothership Core, for some reason, is not being utilized heavily. More Widow Mines now making their way out. Stalkers able to finish off, and now the Widow Mines are backing away here. Alright, the Mothership Core, if it uses that Envision ability, it is going to be enough, but I do not believe Crank does know about it. Still peeling away, backing away, trying to engage the Widow Mines just outside of combat range. Now trying to unburrow and reburrow. This might be a very, very bad day as the Mothership Core now backing off again. It looks like the Widow Mines are not going to be able to fire as the factory. Oh, what's going to be happening here? The Viking now trying to shoot down that Mothership Core. The Mothership Core may get taken down, moving out a little bit too far and still able to poke at that front door. Both sides now in a little bit of this stalemate here. Crank is currently supply blocked, but I believe Crank does have a larger army, and the Vikings are really just trying to shoot down this Mothership Core here. The Mothership Core is regenerating some hit points or some shield points, as we are now going to see the Observer make its way in. The Mothership, one down goes one. There's another Observer almost going to get taken down. It looks like the Mothership Core may get taken down here, and down it goes. A horrible, horrible loss there for Crank, as Crank now is actually forced to walk up onto that high ground. There's another devastating hit. The Widow Mine getting in 2 quick kills, but it is a 40-second attack time, if you guys remember. Alright, is that Widow Mine going to get taken down? Yes, it will. As you can see that the Stalkers are still blinking back. Another Widow Mine gets off another kill there. A lot of damage is being dealt. SCVs now coming off the mineral line. Are they going to be able to blink away? Crank now trying to pull back again and able to retreat back up onto the low ground as one Viking gets caught out of position. Alright, Harvester count is 30 to 22. So Crank, even though he is winning in the exchanges, is still a bit behind. Ryung, if he can just hold off this next attack, will be in a beautiful, beautiful situation. But Crank, I think he just did not know about that Envision ability, and that would have saved him a lot of time, perhaps placed down much more pressure. Stalkers are blinking back still. Some are getting destroyed here as the Marauders are now fighting back once again. The Stalkers are trying to blink back, and it looks like Ryung is going to hold this. Crank now trying to make a move forward. Isn't going to be enough. Another medevac is not going to get taken down as the SCVs coming off again. Alright, we still see one Observer keeping track. A lot of fight, a lot of aggression here. We're at the 13-minute mark, and both sides are still sitting on one base. Alright, one base coming in here. Oh, it looks like that it may get taken down without any attacks coming across from that Widow Mine. A little bit of a loss there as SCVs now coming over to the factory to repair. SCV is being brought over once again. Ryung looking to hold here. Will he be able to hold? SCVs are simply charging down the ramp. Stalkers are able to blink back again as the Stalkers now trying to retreat. It looks as though the Marauders and the Marines do have stim, and there we go. The Stalkers now trying to blink back, blink away. What is going off? There's a very, very long chase there. Not quite sure why. As the observer, all we're going to see is perhaps Crank come back in from this side and do a bit of an aggression. Yes, there you have it again. The Tech Lab is going to get shot down here, but now all of these Stalkers are caught in a very bad situation, getting attacked from the front, getting attacked from the back, and I believe that is the Mana Mules, or Manor Mules coming in, and there's the Imba, as iPad or Crank pretty much says GG. So, very, very good game there. Thank you, Total Biscuit. If you guys didn't know, Total Biscuit is the one that sponsors, I believe, Team Axiom. So these replays were public. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please stay tuned for Game 2.